What does your innovation style look like, other than probably going to restaurants? And of course, if you're an SF, the best food is there and the most unique ones. Like, how do you do that and look at all that without also like getting distracted? There's so much new stuff here. I just want to do it all. Like, how do you keep a focus while also making sure that you're advancing the company?
I guess I always say going out into the field. So going out into grocery stores, walking around, seeing what other people are doing, but others seeing what other sectors in the grocery store are doing. So for packaging, you can look at the craft beer aisle and see how those neons are popping right now and that vibrancy, and how that's eventually going to be translated into the frozen food aisle. So looking at what's the next hot thing in packaging, what's the next hot thing in flavor profiles, but also it's a lot of market research. It's a lot of marketing decks. It's a lot of consumer feedback where we have some crazy ideas and we get real-time feedback from consumers to say, would I buy this? Would I not buy this? Is this crazy or is this a great idea? So as much as it is about kind of the art of food, at the other end of the spectrum, it's the data behind, is this a good business decision or not? Which is something in the last 10 years we've really relied heavily upon, is data.
Have consumers led you wrong yet? Like when you've done these, early tests to see, okay, what do you want? What don't you want? Has it ever led you astray?
I'll say that you might have great consumer feedback and you might think a product is going to absolutely kill it in the marketplace, and then it launches and it kind of falls. So you never really know until you get into the marketplace and you can kind of see what the selling velocities are. And, we're launching a product right now, and one of my whole comments is, let's just put it in the marketplace and see what it does, because we can analyze it forever, but you're never going to know until you actually see real-time data of a real-time consumer, because someone on a survey might say, oh yeah, I wouldn't buy that, but then they see it in the store and they would buy it. So it's so hard to judge until you actually see what it's going to do in real life.
You had a good quote on, I think it was an article I read or a podcast, where you're like, just because you have a great product doesn't mean customers are after it. How do you not only launch a new product like that, but then also stand out so that people know, like, okay, let's give it a shot?
That's a great way to look at it. We might think we have a great product, but consumers might disagree. And what we think is a good pizza, consumers might think is a awful pizza. So it definitely goes back to looking at the data, but it also goes to look and see what concepts are selling in the frozen pizza business right now. It's a completely overpopulated sector of the grocery store. If you go to a grocery store in Wisconsin, there could be 50 different brands of frozen pizza. I'm wondering, how are some of these people surviving?
Because a lot of them are not good. I mean, here in Austin, same thing. There's like an entire aisle in Central Market of frozen pizzas. And I feel like every time I get burned by a different company trying something new, because I'm like, oh, it wasn't good. But then I have short-term memory and I go back and probably buy it again.
Well, and I think that's kind of the whole thing with like frozen pizzas. I'm like wondering, how are there so many different brands out there? Well, frozen pizza is almost a commodity at this point, where there is a frozen pizza for every price level. You can have some that are in the grocery store, 5 pizzas for $10 or 5 pizzas for $5. And those are your typical standard frozen pizza that is maybe costs 50 cents to make, but people are buying it because it's fitting a need. While then on the other end of the spectrum, you have, a frozen pizza that's going to retail for $13.99 that is just as good, if not better, than most pizzerias in America. So it's really just kind of finding the consumer for each product is what it is. And sometimes the target strikes, sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.